I've been to a festival this weekend.
Was it an exciting festival?
It was an exciting festival. It's a local one that goes by the name of Uprising.
Buckrising or uprising? Did you say uprising?
Uprising.
I thought you said buckrising. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Oh my gosh! Already,
That's a very different thing.
We're getting into episode 30 already, and you're already missing your hearing words that aren't there. But carry on, Chris.
I'm meant to be the deaf one because what I just went to was a heavy metal fest, and I could give up fine. It's mostly local bands, but there were some bigger ones there. You heard of the bands Diamond Head and Orange Goblin?
Oh,
No.
Really? Diamond Head?
Diamond Head were playing, yeah.
Really?
They did Am I Evil? Which
Yeah, I was about to
amazing.
say.
Wait.
Yes, here we go.
Really?
Here we go. I was like, how does Brandon not know Diamond Head? And then as soon as you said, Am I Evil? He's like, oh my gosh.
I'll say that's the only Diamond Head song I know. And that's only because of Guitar Hero Metallica.
Well, you know
Yeah,
why? Because of the big four.
Yeah.
So like Anthrax, Slayer, and Megadeth, and Metallica. The few times they've come together, they've played Am I Evil, and I seen the original this weekend. It was very good. The singer was wearing a hat. It was great.
Okay.
Also, there were a load of other bands. Like my guys, Internal Conflict were playing on the Friday, which were great. And if you don't know, people who are listening, Internal Conflict are the people that do the music on the intro and intermissions on my Twitch channel. So yay! I should pay them one day, but it won't be this day.
So whereabouts was the festival held, and like what was the vibe, atmosphere? What was like compared to like a big festival, like Download Festival? Like how did it compare?
Obviously, it's a much smaller scale. So how they did it was at the O2 Academy.
The
They've
one
got
that's
two
the uni.
stages. That's the one, yeah. So yeah, you still got a big main stage. Well, I've seen bands like Steel Panther and Skin Dread play there. I've seen In Me play there a few years ago. That In Me was just before COVID, so we looked out there. It was just before they started cancelling everything. But how it was structured is between the two stages, there was like pretty much always someone on. There weren't like on the main day I went, the Saturday. There was, I want to say, about 14 bands on in total. But they just like alternated stage, so there was like really no time to like stand around and talk to people because it's like, oh, I'll go and watch this band on this stage, and then oh right, the next band's on the other stage now. It's just back and forth all day. But it was kind of good in a way because there was like no fat. You weren't just like hanging around waiting for something to happen. And they had two bars in either room open, so there was never a queue to get to the bar.
I'm guessing were the bars like O2 priced, or were they sort of special price because of the festival?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Oh Jesus.
I wasn't drinking, so a bottle of water and a half of Diet Coke was like £5.70.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
And I bought my dad a pint, and then it suddenly jumped up to like £8.70. Like, what? Jesus. Yeah. So prices could have been better, but that's outside the festival organisers' hands, as it's like an independent group. So a big shout out to the organisers like Simon and Mark and Janine and Co. You did a bang up job.
Is
this like an annual festival, or is it a one-off thing? Because like I've literally never heard of it.
So this is the fifth one they've done, but obviously with COVID, it's they sort of like missed a couple of years. The first couple were held at DeMont Uni. Like the first three were held at DeMont, not DeMont Uni, DeMont Hall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the fourth one was at that was at O2 as well. But unfortunately, I couldn't attend that one because, if memory serves correctly, they did it around September time, and it was like the same time as term time starts. And I work at university. That's a bit of an issue. There's absolutely no way I'm going to get there. But I've got to say that the whole festival was great. There wasn't a bad band. There was like no sound issues, no tech issues. Everything ran like clockwork. Really, really well done. So I do highly recommend Uprising Festival. So if you this time next year, fingers crossed, you're going again. I can get another T-shirt.
I've seen
So
that. I've seen that Raging Speedhorn were playing as well. They're pretty
Yeah,
good.
they were on as well. Yeah, they were.
Yeah. They supported Funeral for a Friend when I saw them on there. Obviously, it's a audio podcast, so you can't see me doing the quotation marks, but on their last tour, they supported them on that, I think, on the final show. Or, no, the penultimate show. And they were good then, so... No,
you know the weird thing is, like, Raging Speedhorn aren't particularly a band I'm like a big fan of, shall we say. I don't dislike them; they're just not really my thing. But this is the third time I've seen them. It's like, how do I keep seeing a band that I'm not like a huge fan of? Why does this keep happening?
It just happens. It's like why I've seen Skindred like how many times is it? Like 12, 13 times. And I've just stopped going to see them because I've just seen them that many times. And so
I've never stopped going. I fucking love Skindred. I'll quite happily see them another 15 times.
I've seen all the songs I want them to play. I'm just like, I'm happy to see whoever else. So I've now got to that point where I will actively try to avoid seeing them live. Not because they're a bad band and they don't do good live shows. I'd rather see other bands. That's literally my only reason. It's not because Skindred aren't a good live band. No, if you see Skindred live, you're going to have a good show. But
straight.
I've seen them that many times. I want to see other bands or other artists. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Like the closest I've had to that is 1 year at Download. There was like Prodigy and Slipknot were playing at the same time. And I wasn't that bothered about Slipknot because I'd already seen them about 4 or 5 times by that point. So I went to go see Prodigy, who were playing the second stage. But I got there and it was so packed, I physically couldn't see the stage no matter where I sort of stood. So just before they played, I was like, right, bollocks to this. I'm going to go see Slipknot instead. At least I can see them. So, which is a shame because Keith Flint's no longer with us, so I've never got to see him. Oh, well.
I saw Prodigy when they last headline Download, and it was really good.
Yeah, I bet it was. Oh well.
Welcome to Victory Achieved Podcast, a video game podcast. I'm Dan, and I'm with Brandon and Chris.
Heyo.
Hello.
This is episode 30, boys.
30
It
boys.
is. 30 boys. We've got 30 boys in here. I ain't got room for 30 boys. Where are they going to sit? I haven't got enough chairs.
So, for the past couple of weeks, ever since, I think I did mention it either the last podcast or podcast before, maybe, I don't know. I bought Doom 2016, and so for the past couple of weeks, I've been blasting through that. So I've now
Fucking love Doom.
I've now beaten Doom 2016. I will be getting Eternal soon, but Doom 2016, that was a good game.
If you thought that was a good game,
Yeah.
you wait till you get Eternal, mate. You're going to have to strap your bollocks down because of how excited you're going to get.
So, if people don't know what Doom 2016 is, or Doom 4, or just Doom, I guess. Doom 4, Doom 2016. It's a first-person shooter. It follows the story of Doom still. I didn't...
There's a story to Doom.
Yeah.
It's not just like gun and shoot things.
I didn't realise it like continued the story from Doom 3. I was like, oh, I didn't realise that, but I don't think you need to play 1, 2, and 3 story-wise to get into Doom 4 or Doom 2016.
What kind of follows on from Doom 64?
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, because at the end of that one, they kind of like say that the Doomslayer was like put away, like locked away, which is like how you start the game,
Yes.
like out the stone coffin.
Yeah. It's like you awaken from your coffin, and then you get into your suit, and then you're like, I'm on Mars, time to kill some demons, and that's pretty much, for the most part, the plot of the game. You're just like, there's a demon, there's another little demon, there's a big demon. and you just kill them all.
Like, there's two things. Like, do you know like the main reason why Doomslayer is so pissed at these demons in the first place?
No.
In a nutshell, he had a pet rabbit called Daisy, and the demons killed it. And now the only thing that's keeping the Doomslayer going is just pure hate. That's it. He's just so angry he can't die.
Yeah. I may have watched something that's in Doom Eternal where he speaks and says rip and tear, and I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to playing Eternal.
Yeah.
I was doing some like little research, or I was like, reading the bio on the Doomslayer, and it goes, oh yeah, in Doom Eternal he says rip and tear. I was like, I don't care that I haven't got Eternal. I haven't finished 2016. I just want to watch the clip where he says rip and tear because I have to hear him say it.
It's kind of odd because it's kind of like a meme.
Yeah.
Because the line rip and tear came from the comic, which is awfully bad. But the dialogue, that rip and tear is one of them. Like, it's got other brilliant lines like, oh, you're huge. That means you must have huge guts. And of course, now I'm radioactive. That can't be good.
This from the comic?
It's all from the comic. I've never read it, but I kind of really want to. I think it's just a one-off. But yeah, it's kind of led to many a meme, and now it's like made its way into the main franchise. It's canon. It's like that happened.
Well, I think because of like the song and just the kind of, that's kind of the quote of Doom, rip and tear. Every sometimes I just go to like people and go, rip and tear, boys, rip and tear. Just don't know, just about, I don't know why I say it. It's just something funny, but I think of the Smile and Wave boys from Madagascar and trying to mix that with rip and tear.
Rip and tear, boys.
Just think of the penguins just going rip and tear, boys, rip and tear.
To be honest, that's the first thing I thought of when you said it, like rip and tear. I just immediately thought of the penguins of Madagascar.
Yeah. But like 2016, Doom 2016 was just so good. I love all the designs of the demons. They all different and interesting, and like it was like each new one I'd be like, oh my gosh, this seems scary. How am I meant to kill this? And obviously eventually you just steamroll through everything. But I think it's the Hell Knight. When I first saw one of them, I think it's in the 3rd or 4th level, I was like, what the fuck is that? And it beat me to death like 3 times in a row because I could not kill it and had to fucking run away. I love all the weapons, and I like how you can upgrade them with you just get you get like weapon mods, and you can upgrade the weapon mods, and you get like special things from that. I like all of that. I just like the game in its entirety. Obviously the music. We've spoken about the music a long time ago, but the music is just top notch. Just as it all the industrial like kind of sounds, and when you get into the fray, it just brings this industrial metal, and it's just so good.
Yeah, Mick Gordon really knocked it out of the park. I didn't realise, like, I think I mentioned it on the podcast quite a while ago, but he also did like the music to the Wolfenstein reboot games. But I thought, of course he would do, because it's like Bethesda. He works for it, really.
He has done I'm going to try and find it as quick as I can, but he has done a song recently with a band. I know exactly who it is. Brandon, you're going to like this. It's Motionless in White. He's done a song with them.
I think I remember, but I don't know off the top of my head which song it is, though.
From the latest album that came out this year, it's the last song on that album. I can't remember what it's called, but he's done a song with Motionless in White. But I remember when, because I listened to the soundtrack even before I played the game. I know, probably a stupid thing to do, but the soundtrack's so good. So when I got to the BFG, in the game. I
Boring
instantly
game in
heard,
the world.
yeah, I instantly heard that the BFG division come on in the game. I was just like, oh my gosh, this song's so good.
I need because I think quite often when I listen to streams or when I listen to just general YouTube videos, like every now and then when I hear Doom music, I've not even played Doom, but I can just appreciate just how cool the music is in the game.
Even just the classic like Doom music is so good. Just like is it I can't remember what it's
Knee Deep
called.
in the Dead.
Is that the one where I'm thinking of where it's
Yeah, Knee Deep in the Dead.
Yeah. I always think it's at Doom's Gate, but that's not. That's from Doom 2016. But
and the original. It's the main one of the missions.
Oh, it is one. I thought it was. When I saw it on the 2016 soundtrack, I'm like, I swear that's like there's something, either a song or a level named the same thing in like the original Doom or Doom 2 or whatever. But no, I just like, even like the bosses were really good. I'll be honest, I wasn't on the easiest difficulty. I was on like the medium, and I did struggle at the start. I did die quite a few times, but by the end, I was mostly steamrolling. I think the only bit I struggled the most on towards the end was the penultimate level, where you have to get on a train at the end. If you remember that, Chris.
Yeah, I've played it a few times.
Yeah.
I didn't have much. I didn't have any trouble with that.
But then you go into a gauntlet of demons, and they just kept killing me so quickly, just because there was just so many I had to deal with. It's not because they weren't hard to kill; it's just so many just attacking me just constantly. But no, it was just a really good game from top to bottom. And if you say Eternal's better, I'm looking forward to playing it.
Eternal's better, yeah. There's no point that I really remember in Doom, after playing it several times, that I found particularly difficult. I've not played them on like the higher difficulties though, so. But not on normal difficulty, I've never really had a rough time of things. Probably because I've been playing Doom since like 95. So
yeah, I like how it still feels quite arcadey, even I guess when it came out, even in 2016, compared to like whatever COD or whatever other first-person shooters came out.
That's just one little detail. Like, there's no run button. You're just always running at full pelt.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
But I like the power-ups that you get throughout the levels. Just had this arcade feel, and even the fact that to get health back, you had to find health packs, and the same with armor. It just felt very arcadey and very old school, even though it was released in 2016. And I'm sure Eternal's exactly the same.
Yeah. Even more so, you're forced to be like even more aggressive.
It was a really, really fun game. I think I don't know what my favorite weapon was, because I know we spoke about weapons last week. I think probably I really like the I really like the super shotgun, but that's just a shotgun. I think if I'm not talking about that, it would probably be like the plasma rifle, because I like the two mods you can do, where you can stun enemies or you can unleash a blast. It was just really fun to do.
Oh, the blast one's great.
Yeah,
that's my favorite in the because it's like a constant reward loop. It's like you just fire like hell, which is just nice and satisfying. That high rate of fire, and then when you keep it up, it builds up, and then you can just release like a massive like shockwave, which does huge damage to enemies around you and stagger them as well.
Yeah,
and if they're staggered, that means you can just shoot them more and just keep going. It's glorious. I think it's improved further in Eternal as well.
Yeah.
And one thing I like about Eternal is like the plasma rifle essentially plays the same to a degree, but they've reskinned it so it looks like the original plasma rifle. So it looks even better.
Yeah, I found like, especially the earlier levels, I would do a level and then I would go back and try and find all the secrets and all the like the armor or suit upgrades, and I was like trying to do that quite a few times, and then I think I got about halfway, and then I started like near enough 100%ing most of the levels, but it was quite fun to like go back and be like, oh, I missed this, oh, I can do this, I can do that. I think the last thing I do want to mention is all the classic map things in each level. That was a really cool touch.
Yeah.
I like that.
If I have one downside to like Doom, if I have one thing to criticize, it's like the map is sometimes confusing.
Yes,
Like
it is. It's not the best.
Once you played it a bit, it's not too bad. But there's one or two levels where the layout's a bit weird, and it's kind of hard to judge what sort of level you are on, like vertically.
Yeah, I don't like it where it kind of centers around you. So sometimes you, especially I can't remember which level. There's one. It might be the tower level. Yeah, it's the level where you go up the tower. That's really bad, where you can't see the whole map because it's so big and it centers on your marker on the map.
Yeah, I think there's a couple like that.
Yeah. But other than that, good game. Looking forward to Eternal.
I give it a solid 9 out of 10. The only reason I give it a 9 instead of a 10 is because Eternal exists, and that's even better. So it has to be a 9.
Yeah. Chris, you've been playing a game as well.
I have. I've been playing something that isn't Doom. I know, surprising. I've been playing a little one called Monster Sanctuary, which was on Game Pass. When I first saw stills of it, I was like, I'm not sure about this, but I downloaded it anyway. Because from the descriptor, it says it's like a Metroidvania. I was like, okay. And it's got like this sort of monster collecting aspect to it, a bit like Pokemon. So I went, oh, okay then. So I'll see how this goes. And I'll be honest with you, I was quite enjoying it to a point.
To a point?
So, yeah. How do I say this? Okay, so let me describe the game anyway. So it's got platforming in it, and it just plays like a Metroidvania. The twist being is instead of like getting upgrades for yourself, apart from a couple of things, most ways you find secrets and progress is by capturing certain animals, because they have like abilities they can use on the field as well as in battle. So imagine they're like HM slave, but like every single one's got their own move. Everyone's got like strength 4 fly, that kind of equivalent. So it's not a kind of game you're ever going to be able to play, like doing like a sort of minimalist run, like or using only this type. That's not going to happen. Like you basically have to catch not everything, but a large majority of them. You have to do, which isn't too bad. It's I've not quite caught everything in my main save file, but only because I beat the game and I couldn't be asked anymore. But how combat works in it is you see like enemies on like your map in like real time while you're platforming, and you just like make contact with them, and then you get into a fight with them. Combat's turn-based, like you expect from Pokemon, but it's instead of like being 1-on-1, it's 3-on-3 at any time.
Okay, so almost like a Pokemon Colosseum style.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I haven't played Colosseum for quite a while, so yeah, kind of like that. It's my problem with it though came a while into the game. There was like a certain point, I want to say about halfway through, where the game suddenly gets a lot more difficult, and it started to swing from having like a party of 3 like in your party that like ones that you want to use like you would do in Pokemon, to pretty much being forced to use certain ones because they had a specific skill set. and it was like pretty much impossible to proceed without doing that combination. And
okay, so it forces you to use certain units, which sort of takes away the enjoyment of doing it at your own sort of style.
exactly, yeah. There's like a heavy emphasis more on like status effects rather than just attacking. And certain enemies and like certain ones you can catch can basically have the ability like to stack effects, and not all of them do. Like it's like they're having the difference between, say, like in Pokemon, the difference between poison and toxic, but you can keep stacking it.
Oh,
If that makes sense. But there's several different types. So you've got like bleed, which does a similar kind of thing. Yeah. It just becomes more about status effects by the end game. And I pretty much hit a brick wall at one point. I was like, how the f do I get past this? Because there is like a level cap as well, which oddly enough is 42, which is a bit
it's a very
strange.
specific number.
It is, but that's it. So even though like my main team at like all maxed out at 42, I was just getting nowhere with these boss fights. And I was like, right, how the f do I get past these? So go online, and the guys basically say, yeah, you have to use these three and do it like this. And the main team I ended up using was like a little robot bug thing, which every turn was just like cast shield, cast heal. That's it. They never attack. They're just constantly spamming like regen like all the time. You have another one which is like just applying buffs all the time. So like attack up, defense up. And then you had another one which was just hitting every single turn. But every time that attacks, it like added like another stack of bleed. But because only one of your units attacking at all times, the fights during like the second half just took forever. Because you're only ever hitting like one target at a time with one third of your team. But honestly, even like with doing that, there was like a couple of close calls. And when I finally beat the game, I was like thinking to myself, how the fuck would you even have a chance at fighting these last bosses without this exact specific team with this exact moveset? Because I can't see how the hell you do it otherwise.
Yeah.
So yeah, it started off really strong, but as it went on, it became quite tedious. It's like the fun's gone from it, and it's like, I'm only doing it now because I've been playing this game for like 30, 40 hours and I'm quite invested. There is a plot, but it's bare bones. It's just like, oh, Baddie wants to take over the world. Stop him.
As always.
Go and tell him to stop being a dick. That's pretty much the plot. Yeah. Would I recommend it? I'd say give it a try, but just be mindful of that last, probably third, I'd say, is just you have to play it how the game wants you to. So you can play like the first half of the game with whatever team you want, and after that it's like, yeah, now you need to do this. I wouldn't say it was like grind heavy at all. There's an element of grinding, but you don't feel like you have to do that all that much. The game has a one handy thing, which is kind of like rare candies, but they're far more abundant. The caveat being, you can't level them past like your top monster. So say if your top monster's like level 13, you can't surpass level 12. That's as high as it goes. So,
okay.
So you still have to like level up a bit, but honestly, experience in that isn't like hard to come by, and neither is money. But it does get tedious. But it's an alright game. It's good to start, but loses traction quite a lot by the end. And that's what I think of Monster Sanctuary.
Well,
you'll never guess what. I've also played a game.
Dun, dun, dun. Was it Doom?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a first-person shooter. It was a survival game, and I've talked about this several times on the podcast about how much I love Subnautica. But I've played a different ocean-based survival game called Stranded Deep. I haven't played a lot of it. I've played maybe about an hour of it, and I'd say in comparison to Subnautica, obviously Stranded Deep's a bit more realistic. Like, you've still got your hunger bar, you've still got your thirst bar, You can get a sunstroke if you're out in the sun for too long. So like you'll have your watch, which will tell you if you're like your UV index. If your character gets too hot, you need to cool down. You know, go into the ocean to cool down. If you're too cold, stand by a fire. If you eat raw food, you'll get poisoned. You know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it is very, very... It's definitely more challenging than Subnautica, I'd say, because... So the whole premise is, again, likewise to compare to Subnautica, you're in an airplane, flying off. Airplane, you know, has a crash landing in the middle of the ocean. You've then got to get out of the plane, get up to the lifeboat, and then as soon as you get to the lifeboat, big explosion happens, and you wind up floating in the ocean with nothing but a survival pack and a paddle. But there's an island conveniently right in front of you. So you make your way to the island, and that's basically like the tutorial island. It tells you about the crafting system. It tells you about how to farm resources, how to cook, you know, stuff like that. So I did the little tutorial bit, and it got to a point where so the world is almost infinite generating, similar to like Minecraft. Like you go like a certain distance, and all of a sudden another island will pop up.
Yeah.
So I finished on this first island. I'm then making my way to the second island. I'm there rowing my paddle boat, and all of a sudden my boat gets flipped over. I was like, what the fuck was that? It's now getting really, really dark. I was like, what the fuck was that? I'm looking around. I jump onto my upside down lifeboat, and I'm just like, I don't see anything. But the music is getting really, really ominous. And then the boat gets flipped over again, so I'm like, oh, fuck this. So I get back into the boat. And literally, so the best way I can describe it is, you know, you've probably seen it going around like a lot at the moment called thalassophobia, which is the fear of the deep sea. I think playing this game, I actually experienced that. I felt scared. It was like middle of the day, and I actually felt scared playing this game. Apparently, there's bosses in the game, so like there's like giant squids, giant sharks, which, you know, I don't know anything about these, so I'd be interested to do that. But the amount of times I've been killed by a pig, I've been killed by a snake, I've been killed by a crab, I've died of starvation, I've died from hammerhead sharks, I've just died from being an idiot. So there's several ways which you could die. It is clunky compared to... I feel like Subnautica is a bit more fleshed out and a bit more exciting to play, whereas Stranded Deep is just like, okay, you've got to craft, prepare, build like a way... Like, there is a story to Stranded Deep, but I don't know what it is, because like I said, I'm only about an hour or two into it. But as soon as I get past, you know, dying in between islands and dying on the second island, I do want to see what more the game has to offer. So maybe next time we do the podcast or the time after that, I'll probably be able to talk a bit more about Stranded Deep. But yeah, but I mainly got this just because I did get the new PS Plus premium one. And even though it is one of the normal PS Plus, you know, monthly games, which I did get, it's just one of those games which just appeared on that PS Plus collection. So I was like, yeah, I'll give that a go while I was at my parents'. And yeah, it kept me entertained for a bit, and I literally shit myself when I was getting flipped over by a shark. Honestly, guys, it was freaking terrifying. I was scared. You know, if you're watching a horror movie, you turn the volume down. Yeah. I did that to the TV while playing the game. I felt like a right pussy, but I was actually scared playing the game. Just that fear of, I can't see what's under the ocean. Then all of a sudden I saw the shark. I was like, oh, phew, it's a shark, not a boss. I think it was that fear because I know there's bosses in the game. So I thought, oh god, maybe some massive shark or some massive squid is literally just flipping the boat over, like the life raft upside down. So I had to quickly get out the water and onto this life raft. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And then every time it flipped over for a second time and the boat was right way up, I quickly grabbed my paddle. I was like, come on, Brandon, get to that island, And then it flipped again. I was like, oh, fuck this. Oh no, it's making me feel nervous just talking about it. I don't want to play it, but I do want to play it.
Right, hang on. I had to Google this because I thought this sounds familiar. I have played this before.
What did you think of it?
I believe I mentioned this on the podcast during the early days.
Did you?
Yeah, I have. This is one of the game where I didn't play it for very long. This is a game that was free on PlayStation Plus a while back, so I downloaded it. And I didn't get very far because the game was just completely and utterly broken.
It is very, very clunky.
It's incredibly janky. So it asked me to craft a couple of things, so I did that. And then it asked me to craft some more complex. So I did that. Took a little while to do it. And the items fell through the floor. And I couldn't progress.
Yeah, it happened to me when I was trying to pick up sticks and stuff. That they disappear into the bushes. I'm like, where the fuck has that gone?
Yeah, but it's not just the they're on the floor. There's like, no, they've just completely disappeared out of existence completely. So I didn't play for very longer. So you get scared of the boat tipping over. I got scared of it because I thought my PlayStation might crash if I kept playing because it's just broken to fuck.
It is very, very clunky. So like to open your inventory, you press L1. But to open your crafting menu, you press R1. But while you're in the crafting menu, you can press L1 and R1 to navigate which section of that crafting menu you're on, or you can press R2 and L2 to cycle which part of the overall crafting menu you're on. And it gets very, very confusing what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it's like a radial. It's like a radial menu, isn't it? Yeah.
And then like your inventory is radial, and you choose one. But if you're carrying too much stuff, you might accidentally drop something. You're like, where the fuck has that gone? It's a very, very confusing UI. It really is.
The interface needs work, but I don't think it's ever going to happen because this game's a few years old now.
Yeah. So. Oh, 9-10 years old now. Because when I started to play it, I was just like, let's just watch if any of the big YouTubers have played anything recently. So I stuck on Jacksepticeye. He played it like 8 years ago, like before he played Subnautica, and Subnautica back then was janky. So I'm just like, my god.
Yeah, it's not a recommendation from me.
I mean, I'm still gonna get through it because I want to see exactly what it offers. But if I have to deal with that fucking shark flipping me in the ocean again, I'm gonna turn it off. I shit myself.
Just rip and tear him, mate. You'll be fine.
Just rip and tear, boys. Just rip and tear. Just wave at it.
Well, as you say, you've only played that for about an hour. I actually played a game for about an hour as well. A new game that came out on Friday, last Friday. It is the new Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. I know it's a bit of a mouthful.
How was that?
Like I said, I've only played an hour. So, if you don't know what the Warriors series is,
of course I do.
Yeah, it's just like Dynasty Warriors, Hyrule Warriors, whatever. It's that, but for Fire Emblem. So, when I booted it up, I think I went into it thinking this is gonna be like Hyrule Warriors, and for the most part, it is, but it's not. I think I assumed it would be like Hyrule Warriors and Dynasty Warriors, where you play a story, but it's more level to level. I don't think this Fire Emblem Warriors game is like that. So, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes is technically a sequel / spin-off / alternative universe of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. And I think it's like 3 Houses where it has multiple playthroughs. So I
wait for a Warrior series.
Yes,
that's jank.
Yeah. So I booted it up, and instantly it goes, pick your character. So you get to pick if you want to be a male or female. I initially went male, and then I went, actually, can you do romances in this game? I realised you couldn't, and so I restarted and picked a female because she was hot. And then it goes, pick. Then they talk about your playable character in 3 Houses, and I'm like, okay, wait, what's going on? And they've made the main character in 3 Houses the villain in this Warriors game.
Oh,
yeah, that's weird and interesting. So I'm really interested to see how it's all going to go. I've only done the first level, so it's basically just the tutorial level, but it plays just like the Muso games, the Warrior games. It literally does. There's not really. You've played them. You know exactly how it's going to go. You have your characters. You go around hacking, slashing, whatever, and you do all your moves and whatnot. But I think where this is going to differ from Dynasty Warriors or Hyrule Warriors is that it's going to play. I think it's going to turn out to be more like 3 Houses in terms of the multiple multiple branching storylines, or like the multiple different storylines you can have. I think it's going to be more like that. And even some of the things I had to pick, when you had to pick like difficulty, it did the Fire Emblem thing where it's like, oh, do you want it so that if your officers die in the game, they die for the whole game, or they come back next battle, which is like it is in Fire Emblem. So you can have permadeath on if you want. And I was like, wait, on a Muso game, you can decide to have permadeath. What the hell is going on?
If that's the case, imagine if you had that on any level that involved Lubu. Oh my god.
Everyone would be dead. Like this, it's really interesting me that it's like, of all the Muso games I've played, this is like completely not what I was expecting. So I'm really looking forward to playing more. I've just not had any time to play anymore. All I've done is the tutorial, but I am interested in how it's going to turn out. I don't know if I can play as multiple characters. It might be that I can only play as one character. I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to turn out. So I'm very intrigued, but right now I have no idea what to expect. The reviews say it's good, so hopefully it lives up to what the critics are saying, I guess, but who knows. But yeah, I saw one thing though about it, that it runs better than Hyrule Warriors Asia Calamity, so that's quite funny. But yeah,
I mean, even like I'm just interested gameplay wise, like how you're saying like you could have this permadeath thing, so I want to see how that actually pans out.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I've taken it off, so I won't have to deal with that. But I'd assume it's just like, as you know, when your off is like, help me, it's just that, and then they get killed and that's it. I'd assume it's like that. But I think more how I think this game, how Free Hopes is going to go, is it's basically going to be an alternative Free Houses where instead of doing strategic battles, it's Muso battles. And with an alternative timeline or plot. Yeah, because you play as a completely new character. And then, like I said, your playable character is the villain. So, yeah. But I'm intrigued. But when I play some more, I'll let you know.
I look forward to it.
But
Speaking of playing games, I've been playing another one.
Oh,
Which I can't believe I completely forgot about.
yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, you didn't mention that earlier.
I didn't know, but I really ought to. So I've been playing a brand new one that only came out on Friday
So,
at time of recording. Or actually, no, last Friday now. So I've been playing a little one that you may have heard of called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah, you put it in
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, how the hell did I forget I was playing that? That's pretty much all I've done all week. Yeah, the new Turtles game. Obviously, it's licensed by Nickelodeon. So, if you really like the old school 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up games, like the arcade game or Turtles in Time, and I know people have been arguing for years which one is the best one, the arcade or Turtles in Time. The answer is this one. This one's the best, hands down. This game's fantastic. If not for Elden Ring, I shit you not, this is my game of the year.
Bloody hell.
It's that good.
It's like why I say Vampire Survivors is my second favourite game this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, play Turtles into Shredder's Revenge.
Oh, I do want to play Shredder's Revenge. You know, I don't know if you know anything about it, Brandon, but
Nope.
It's got a 6-player co-op.
Yep.
Bloody hell.
And it's couch co-op. It's not just online, which is beautiful in this day and age.
Does it have crossplay?
I don't know. Maybe.
Just because I know a few of my friends have got it, and if I bought it, I could do crossplay. That's the only thing I ask. I'm actually gonna look right now, but yeah. Tell us more, Christopher.
Okay, Okay, fine. I will. Oh, Daniel. And over on me. All right then. Yeah, so I haven't got a bad thing to say about this game at all. Everything it does, I really like. So it's got a slight sort of leveling system, I guess. Each character can go from like level 0 to level 10. And how it works is just when you hit a certain number of points, and you get 1 point for every KO in the game, no matter what it is. So it's fairly straightforward. Just kill a load of shit. You get things that like new sort of special moves and like 1 extra hit point, 1 extra life, because it's like more of an arcade game. You have like lives to get through like a stage with. It's got an overworld that's a bit like Mario 3. It's all pixel art graphics and it looks really good. There's like a lot of background details going on. Like you'll be scrolling along, going into the next scene of the level, and you'll see like the foot soldiers are like doing stuff in their spare time. Like first level, for example, like the first level was like the TV studio, like Channel 6 News, and you'll just see like one of the guys is like on reception, like taking phone calls and that, like writing down stuff with a pen, like, and like there's like another bit further on where they're at reception, so they've got like, a couple of guys on keyboard, but then there's like one foot soldier in the middle who's typing away. He doesn't have a keyboard, but he's just typing away anyway, like everyone else. Little details like that, but that's consistent throughout the game. Like they're always doing stuff like interacting with the environment. There were even some in like a level taking place in a zoo where they're just eating ice lollies, and I didn't want to fight them. I just wanted to leave them to it. They look like they're having a nice time. But if you know the foot soldiers, they all wear masks. So I was thinking, hang on, they're eating that ice cream for the mask and took it off. How are they licking it? It makes sense. But music in this game, top notch, absolutely fantastic soundtrack. It might be the soundtrack to the year, hands down. So if you don't know, this game has sort of redone the intro to the 80s cartoon for the intro bit.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
the theme itself is sung by none other than Mike Patton, who you may know as the singer for Faith No More and Mr. Bungle.
Oh.
So what?
That's pretty dope.
What? I'm going to have to check that out.
And Wu-Tang Clan also do a song for Shredder as well. How the fuck they managed to get Wu-Tang Clan, I don't know. But most people are like, are they still going? It's like, apparently they are. And they're doing music for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, great. This is brilliant. So yeah, the combat itself is really straightforward. It's basically like one button to attack, but it depends where your positioning is for what attack you do. There's like one button for like the special attack, so you got like a little gauge that builds up, and you just press Y to unleash it. It's very straightforward. You hold down the attack button to do like a power swing. Say there's 7, because there is a secret one, but it's not really much of a secret because it's in all the promotional materials. Whoops. Yeah, the combat's really, really straightforward. I suppose if I can compare it to anything, it'll be like Smash Brothers, but it's just like one attack button, but depending on what you're doing at the time, depends what kind of attack you do. So it's really, really straightforward. It's easy to master. But and yeah, all the bosses are great. There's a couple of throwbacks to like Turtles in Time. Like there's a certain boss or two where you do certain things which are complete call outs to the older games. It's like, oh, remember this bit? Wasn't that good? Well, here it is again. And I tell you what, it's still good. It's not just copy and pasting. They've done it, but done it fresh. And the whole thing just screams of like a labour of love. There's honestly nothing bad about it. I've been playing it through for like the 5th time. But when you beat the game, you can like play any level at your leisure. Plus, it's got a few challenges in it as well if you want to go the extra mile. It's like defeat a certain amount of enemies using a certain move in a stage. There's a couple I've not done, and that's because the challenge is get through the level without getting hit. It's like, not yet. Maybe I'll work on that.
Yeah, good scrub.
Yeah. But honestly, I was going to buy this game on day one. So I went on the PlayStation, and I think it's meant to retail for 20 quid, but they were doing it for 17. So I thought, right, 17 quid. I'll have a quick think about that. And anyway, I turned on the Xbox, and it's on Game Pass day one. I was like, shit.
Oh wow, saved you 17 quid.
Yeah, I did not for one moment think it would be on Game Pass on release day, but yes, it was, and I'm so happy for that. Well, that's just pay for Game Pass in a month. I got my money's worth there. Yeah. So yeah, Turtles in Time, Shredder's Revenge. Not Turtles in Time. The Shredder's Revenge. Go and get Shredder's Revenge. It's great. You can finish it in like 2.5 hours. I did the whole thing live, blind on stream, and I had a blast. I had to pause it a couple of times just to listen to the music. I was like, this is really good.
Since we're on Turtles, well, first thing, who did you play as? Because that's going to answer my next question anyway.
In this one, chat chose for me. They said they wanted me to play as Michelangelo.
If chat chose, then that doesn't. I can then ask the next question.
All right. Well, if it was down to me, Donatello.
Well, then that answers my next question. But I can ask it to Brandon. Who's your favourite turtle?
I don't really know. The only one I know is Michelangelo. Because I've never really been like a fan of the Turtles per se. Like I remember as a kid, like just sticking it on when it was on just to watch it, and I was always intrigued by the mouse, the rat, and I was like, oh, he's cool. That's really cool, about it.
Yeah, so you can play as Splinter in the new one, and you can play as April O'Neil as well.
Yeah,
and the bonus character.
And Casey Jones.
Yeah, during that time period, I was more of a Power Rangers guy rather than a TMNT.
Yeah, well, Casey Jones is a secret character. So
spoilers. There you go.
I say it's not a spoiler. He's in all the trailers for it.
I was like, if you, I think you kind of would have expected him to be in it, even if he's the secret character. I think you would have expected him to be playable.
Mm. It's nice that you can do it though, because all the other Turtles games up until now, like the arcade ones anyway, like you've just played as the 4 Turtles.
Yeah.
The others are just there just for plot to like move it forward.
Hmm.
But it's nice to know that like April O'Neil is not a damsel in distress in this one.
No. I think my favourite turtle is Leonardo, but I like all 4 of them. It's quite funny, like hearing like who likes which turtle more. It's quite interesting because I listened to a podcast. They were talking about this game, and the guy was like playing the best turtle, Donatello. I was like, whoa! I don't really hear many people that like Donatello the most. That was interesting. Like,
but he's always been my favourite. He's the smart one.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying like I dislike any of them. They're all cool characters, but I don't know. Donatello always feels like the one that the least favourite to me, maybe.
I thought Raphael was a lot of people's least favourites because he's like the moody one.
I always find that Raphael and Michelangelo the 2 favourites. My mate, he's also got the game. Michelangelo is his favourite.
Wow. I always used to play as Donatello in the older games. Anyway, just because he's got a Joe staff, he's got the reach. You can just like try and hide in the corner and try and poke them from a distance. Never works.
I think for me, Leonardo just has swords. I was like, yeah, dual swords.
Would you be happy to know he's still got them?
I suspect so. What does Splinter use in the game? This hand-to-hand combat?
No, he's got his cane.
Oh yeah, he does.
Cane.
Right, April O'Neil. What does she use?
She's got a microphone.
Say that so casually.
She's a reporter, isn't she? She's got a microphone. I don't know if you've used some reporting microphones, but they're bloody heavy. They'd do more damage to you than a Joseph would if they swatted you with that.
It's just they got all these different weapons, swords, the staff, the nunchucks, the cane, and it's just microphone.
Bloody microphone.
Yeah, but think about it. It's just a solid chunk of metal. That's going to do some damage. But yeah, go get it. Go play that. Go play that and Doom and have like the best time of your life.
Well, I don't think we've got any more games that we've played, have we, boys?
No surprise trump cards, no.
No, not this.
I think so.
There are our games, but I think before we get into like some juicier things that we've watched, I'm gonna just just because I watched the first 3 episodes today. They announced it a while back, and finally for this current anime season, it's part of the lineup, and they've released the first 3 episodes all in one bundle. Is for the new RWBY anime. So if you don't know what RWBY is, it's a 3D animation done by Rooster Teeth, and a Japanese studio are doing like a kind of like a retelling alternative story of the show that starts from like the first 3 episodes are basically the first volume mostly of RWBY, and they were really good. I've been a bit hit and miss with RWBY in its later years, but this new anime, the first 3 episodes were really good. The pacing got a bit quick towards the end of the 3rd episode, but for the most part, it was really good. It looked really good. For the most part, there's a couple scenes that didn't look that great, but it was really good. And because it's a proper anime, they've got Japanese voice actors and actresses doing all the voice lines instead of the American voice actors and actresses. But it was like it was interesting how they added more stuff into it than it originally came out. But if you're a fan of RWBY, I'd recommend it. I know you watched a bit of it, Brandon.
Yeah, I can't remember how far I got with RWBY. I think I did 2 seasons.
Yeah. Well, I'd say you don't need to have watched like RWBY to enjoy this new kind of alternative / retelling. I'd recommend watching it. Like I said, the first 3 episodes are all together, so you've got like basically an hour-long episode. But it was good fun. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect, but it was a decent watch. If you're wondering on what to watch this next anime season, I recommend the RWBY anime.
Did you not have another anime series you wanted to discuss while you're on the subject?
Yeah, some piracy going on there.
Maybe.
Yeah, you might do it in One Piece.
Maybe. Wano, the latest arc in One Piece, Wano, ended not last week, the week before. And this arc had been going on, I think it's been going on since one of my friends has been in a relationship with his girlfriend, and I think they got into their relationship, if I remember correctly, 2018. So it's been going on since 2018, and it's only just finished. Not my friend's relationship. That's going on. That's still going on. But this One Piece arc is only just finished. The reason why I say that is because I remember going to Comic-Con with my friend, and I remember being on the train reading the first chapter of this arc, and it was just really weird to be in this arc finally that had been teased for absolutely years, and it's kind of weird to see it all done. And it was really, really good. Like with everything, it wasn't perfect, but for the most part, it was fantastic. One Piece is amazing. I know it's so long. I know that is off-putting for people, and I completely agree. Some of the early arcs aren't the best, or they're all right, and I think they turn people off. But once you get into the meat of it, I just can't see why people would ever not continue reading or watching this series. It's just incredible. If you want a good, as you said, what did you say before we started recording or while we're recording? You're watching the Pirates of the Caribbean films. It's like, if you like all of that, but in like a weird animated form, One Piece is perfect. Like, Captain Jack Sparrow is just this strange pirate who just, everything kind of works for him. And it's just kind of the same with like Monkey D. Luffy in One Piece. Just everything just kind of works, and it doesn't make sense. And it's just kind of, it doesn't make sense, but it also does. And it's just so fun and enjoyable and funny. And Wano was this massive super arc. It was heavily influenced by Japan, and Wano is this country in the One Piece universe where it's all like been boarded off, and it has like an evil shogun, and it was like years and years and years of building blocks that had led up to this arc, and it just delivered near enough in its entirety of like new characters, the villains for the most part, and just the action. It just worked, and right now it's on a month break, and before it goes into its final saga, and I have no idea where it's going to go next. But Wano was this very special arc in One Piece that everyone had been waiting for, and it pretty much delivered. And it's one of these arcs where it's like, if you're a One Piece fan, you were just in your element every week. You had like this little bundle of joy you would read, and you would always feel happy afterwards. It's like, I don't know, like if you say you found Turtles on Game Pass, and you're like, oh, that's saved all that money. You're in your, I don't know, and all the nostalgia on it. It's like, it's just like the same feeling, and one of them just so good. I don't really know. I can't really like. It's not. I can't really go into what it was properly about, because no one's really gonna. You guys aren't really gonna know. It was just like so many years of story that had built up, and it just paid off. And it's one of the reasons why I love One Piece. And yeah, it's so long, but when you have these payoffs that absolutely land, I don't care that it's as long as it is. I will happily read this manga for another 1,000 chapters if that is the case, because it's a journey I love to read every week. I kind of don't care what the One Piece is, as long as I get to enjoy the series. So, yeah.
I've got my really important question here is, what's the filler content of One Piece like compared to like Bleach, Naruto, and whatnot?
I don't know, because I don't watch it. I don't think it's as bad. I don't know. I'm really unsure. I hear mixed things. So I'd say to read it.
Oh, okay.
If you want, I could lend you volumes 1 to 49 if you wanted to read them. I think it's.
I definitely want to read them like at some point.
I think it's 1 to 49. I've got up to one of my favorite arcs, or might be my favorite arc, but it's still part 1. It's not part 2. So I still haven't got all of part 1. I wanted to read a whole load before I bought more. So, but One Piece is amazing. But if you don't think it's that, like, well, if people don't think it's that big, at one point it was the third biggest, third best-selling comic in the world. It was behind Batman and Superman. So yeah, that's how big it was at one point. It's been taken down a bit because other manga have skyrocketed past it, called Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, but it's still pretty big. It's massive.
I mean, what about in terms of just total volume? Are you just talking about in total volume sold, or are you talking about like just recent like pop amount?
Recent sales, it's gone down because of how big the animes of Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen have been. So they've like absolutely blown past it, and it's even. I hope that Chainsaw Man has an absolute boom of manga sales when the anime finally comes out, because that is my most anticipated anime. It was, you know what? It is the most anticipated thing I want to watch this year. I don't care about films or TV shows. Chainsaw Man is the thing I've been looking forward to the most this year. When I just want to see, I just want to see animated Chainsaw Man. Oh, I can't wait.
The thing I'm most looking forward to is I just really want this end of Bleach to be animated, just so I can finally say I've finished it again. That's the thing I'm most looking forward to. I've been waiting years for this, absolute years, because like Bleach was the second anime I ever watched. Like Naruto Shippuden was first, then it was Bleach, then original Naruto. So I have been literally waiting for this finale of Bleach, 10 years. And I really can't wait for it to be finally over.
Well, I did go see an animated film as well.
Ooh.
I went to see Lightyear.
Oh yeah.
It was enjoyable. It was like, I would say it's like mid-tier Pixar. I don't want to be like it was fine. It was enjoyable. It didn't do anything more than what it was trying to do, but I liked it. It was quite fast paced, and it was enjoyable, and I had a good time. I don't really have.
Yeah, so that's interesting because like the reviews I've seen of it, and I've seen a couple. I don't know why. I just they've all said like the same thing. It's pretty dull. It's pretty boring.
I didn't think it was boring. I don't know. I think my only thing is it wasn't doing anything. I don't think it did anything new, but at the same time, it didn't. It was just a enjoyable, fun film, and I was kind of happy that it was like that.
Well, no, you didn't want it to be something amazing. Well, I suppose more importantly, it wasn't something that was shit.
Yeah, it did have some hints and nods to the first two Toy Story films. I'd say the first two, because I don't think there'd be any hints and nods to 3 and 4. So like, you know how in the second film you have Zurg appears, and and he goes like that "I am your father" thing. There's like a nod to like that, and then what's it in the first film? I'm gonna forget this now, but there's like something else in the first film as well. But like
in the first film,
in Toy Story 1, I can't.
I'm trying to think. There's Andy.
No.
Not Andy. What's his name? Oh, what's his name? The bully.
Woody. Sid.
Sid, that's it.
No. I can't remember what I'm trying to think of, but there was a few things of like that I like of what Buzz had said in, or what happened in Toy Story 1 and 2, and they, like, referenced it in the film, and it was like, yeah, that was referencing Toy Story 1, that was referencing Toy Story 2. But, you know, I did enjoy it, but, you know, I don't know, I had a good time. The cat was the best character. He's called Socks. He was amazing. I want a Socks for myself. He's
now,
so
now
good.
available in every toy store across the country.
He's so cool.
The Buzz Lightyear toy, which is based on the movie, it will be outsold by the cat that's in the movie instead.
Because the cat is cool. The cat's amazing.
Few say so. I haven't seen it. I don't know. Cats aren't my thing. I'm a dogger. I'm a dog man. Oh well.
But you saw a film.
I did see a film. Shall I go into detail?
Please.
please.
Okay. Well, I've actually seen two. So I'll go with the one that I've seen recently. And I mean very recently. I mean about 3 hours ago. I saw the new Beavis and Butthead film. Yeah, Beavis and Butthead through the universe.
You seen that film?
Fire. Yeah. Yes, I did. What can I really say about it? It made me laugh. If you like the original series, you'll like this. It's pretty much more of the same. It does have a plot, like does Do America, but it's a bit more out there. They take a few more liberties with it. But it's Beavis and Butthead. We already know it's done. If you know what Beavis and Butthead is and you like it, you pretty much know exactly what you're gonna get. So there's not much I can really say about it other than I enjoyed it. It got a few laughs out of me. Would I watch it again? Yeah, probably. I don't know. I'll put it on the same level as something like something else I enjoy, like I don't know, Jackass or something. You know exactly what you're getting. You know you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be 90 minutes. It's not going to change your life, but you will get some laughs out of it. Yeah, it's a good film. Good film. I do recommend it. But if you're not a fan of Beavis and Butthead, then you're probably not going to like this as well. There's nothing really different. It's just them 20 to 4 years later, pretty much.
Oh,
it's just the same.
Are they older? Or are they just the same?
Without going into spoilers, no. It's a cartoon. It doesn't have to make sense. And an age.
Oh no, the way you said it made it sound like it was set. It was actually set. Yeah.
There is like scenes regarding it, but they're not like the focus of it. Really.
Okay.
There is a scene where they show you like them as like older, but it's more played up for like one scene.
Oh, okay.
The film does start and it takes place in like 1998. Start with. But then things happen involving the universe. But more importantly, fart and cock and knob jokes. Yeah, pretty much what you expect. Yeah, I probably talked about that more than I thought I was going to. The other film I've seen, which again is a new-ish film. I don't think it's in cinemas anymore. I think it's not long come off. But that film is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which, if you don't know, is the Nicolas Cage film where he plays Nicolas Cage, the actor.
Oh, bloody hell.
And he goes to like an island for a sort of job which is run by a drug kingpin played by Pedro Pascal. You may know as the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
And hijinks ensue. To say anything else would ruin it. This film is absolutely chock full of references to older Nick Cage's films. And if you're a big fan of Nick Cage, you'll love this movie. The whole thing's just a love letter to himself, by himself, I guess. But it's all played kind of tongue-in-cheek. It's just Nick Cage being Nick Cage. What can I say? Like he's an oddball, but in the best possible way. He knows it's just what he's doing in this film is just self-gratifying, but it doesn't stop it from being charming. Because he's always been like that. There's something about Nick Cage films where it's like watching a meme happen in real time. Yeah. He's a goof, and like even when he's doing his more serious roles, there's still a bit of an oddball quality to him. Even when he's just playing himself, but that's no bad thing because Nicolas Cage is a character. He feels more like a cartoon character than a real person. And I'm still waiting for the to be in like the alternate universe where we live in the universe where Nick Cage was Superman, which was very nearly the case, and it never happened. And I really wish it did. The timeline would be completely different. Overweight Massive Talent gets a face off out of 10 because I couldn't think of a score to give it. But it is good.
Face off out of 10. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's dumb. It knows it's dumb. Don't take it too seriously. If you like Nick Cage, you'll have a great time.
Who doesn't like Nick Cage?
I don't know, but if that person does exist, please consider ending your existence.
Right.
Yeah, harsh.
Oh wow.
Not harsh but fair, I think.
Oh my gosh. Well,
not really. Don't really do that. But you may want to reconsider your life choices.
I guess a very strange segue to the next thing. In something where someone else wanted to end someone's existence, let's talk about Obi Wan, since now it's finished.
Yes, there was. Let's pretend that was meant to happen, and that was the segue. It was all planned. Yes, they'll buy that.
Yeah, Obi Wan is now finished, and
it is indeed.
I guess. What do you think, Chris? As a whole in the last couple of episodes, because we've only spoken about the first 2 episodes. So
yeah, but we knew it was only 6 episodes, so it wasn't going on for a long time. So I think I got pretty much exactly what I thought I was going to get. They pretty much played it safe because there wasn't really much they could do because like Obi-Wan comes out of it fine. Leia's fine. Luke's fine. Vader's fine.
Yeah.
So there's very little wiggle room for them to do much with. So I think given the quite strong limitations they had, they did a good job. I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I like, as you say, all these characters are going to be fine, so it wasn't like, are they in danger? No, because they're in the later films, so it doesn't like the threat there wasn't there, but I think even though it wasn't there, in places it still was. I think the only thing the only moment that I felt like was right in the final episode where the third sister came to. Yeah, we're gonna go full into spoilers. When the third sister went to Luke's home, I don't know, like that kind of got me. I was like, what's gonna happen? But then, as I watched it, I was a bit like, well, she must be terrible at her as a Sith because she could not deflect any of those blasters.
Oh no! Here's what I thought. Like the auntie and uncle could fight off a third sister, like one of the Sith Lords. They can fight them off fine. In the main film, they can't fight a few stormtroopers. That's too much.
Yeah, they get burnt by stormtroopers, but can fight off a Sith. Makes perfect sense.
Problem. Yeah, mind you, this is also the thing. Like somebody pointed out, it's like how come like Obi-Wan's like not aged a day in the 25 years in between films, but in the next 10 years when he meets Luke, he's like aged by back 50 years.
It's no, it's not as bad as the Dumbledore from because of what's it, Fantastic Beasts, where it's like obviously it's Jude Law, and then it's, if you look at like the years, it goes from like 10 years and he's suddenly an old man. It's even worse than Obi-Wan. At least Obi-Wan you can see it, but Dumbledore to how he becomes pretty much in Harry Potter, it's ridiculous. It's stupidly quick.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I really like Obi-Wan. I do think episode 4 was a weak episode. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I like the fights between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, because there were a couple of them. You had the one in episode 3 and the final one, and even like the confrontation in episode 5 between Obi-Wan and the third sister was really good. As I did put in our messenger chat, in the final episode there was one bit that I could not stop laughing at, and it was the fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, and when Obi-Wan brought all of his, when his force powers finally returned in full force, he brought some boulders up all around him, and then he threw them at Darth Vader, and the way Hayden Christensen acted in that scene as Darth Vader being hurled by the boulders was so fucking funny. I've never laughed at Star Wars as much as that. And
Was it just so wrong?
He just was getting pelted by these boulders, and it was just so funny. It was just the way he was acting. It was just so funny to see Darth Vader being pelted by these boulders and seeing him basically act like a bitch, and it was just so funny.
I think you're missing. I think you're missing out on the subtle joke that Obi-Wan was lifting up the rocks, therefore he has the high ground.
Indeed.
The one bit that made me laugh in the last episode, which is the same bit as what I thought you were going to say, is the bit that made you laugh. It's just where it goes up to Luke and just goes, "Hello there," in like the same fucking tone. Like,
I think we were expecting it.
He said the thing. He said the thing.
I found a meme straight away where it's like, ever since the Obi-Wan finale, I've been waiting for someone to make this, and it has that where he goes, "Hello there," and then it just has Luke, and he goes, "General Kenobi," and he just has all the lightsabers come out of Luke, like General Grievous. Oh, it's brilliant. I saw a I'm not going to fucking say it. I saw a thing where it had all the three hello there's, where it had it in Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan, and then A New Hope.
Yeah, there's a reason I've got that sound effect as on my Twitch channel. There's a channel point redemption sound alert. It's a good little thing to like say for free when you come into chat. It says, "Hello there." Oh, hello. And then on the other one I've got for when people leave my chat is another Obi-Wan one. I thought, why not stick with the theme, which is the "Goodbye, old friend, and may the force be with you," which you didn't say in the series.
No.
Disappointing. So 0 out of 10 for that.
It was a good series, and Darth Vader was so good as well. I was talking to my mate, and despite some of the things Disney's done with Star Wars, one thing they've done absolutely right is Darth Vader. Ever since they've acquired Star Wars, they've made Darth Vader. They've re-established how good of a villain Darth Vader is.
Yeah, because if you watch like the older Star Wars, Darth Vader just doesn't seem to really do much.
He does,
in my opinion. But I felt, if I compare like Darth Vader to like Anakin, like Darth Vader himself didn't seem to do much, whereas Anakin did, if that makes sense. Because like, obviously you had Anakin go through, do all the kills, whereas Darth Vader, like anytime Darth Vader was in a fight, he didn't seem like this big villain. He just seemed like some old codger, like wielding his walking stick.
But in
if that makes sense.
But in what he does in like episode 5 of Obi Wan, and even in the final episode, is just how powerful he is as a Sith Lord. It's ridiculous. And it's like that's what makes like pretty much this whole series, Darth Vader was just a force to be reckoned with. Like
some very cool shots. Like the shot with him like holding 2 lightsabers when he's fighting the third sister was pretty cool.
Just him destroying the ship, that alone is worthy of mentioning.
That was pretty badass. And even when he's been bested by Obi Wan, he's got his helmet split open, just like the voice effects, where it's like sort of half Hayden Christensen and half robotic. Is really cool. It's really well done. I
was quite glad they did that, because I think a few people were a bit annoyed that we wouldn't actually get to see Hayden Christensen in the Darth Vader suit. Like, we knew he was underneath, but I think I saw a few comments being like, are we actually going to see him actually in the suit? So that we know he's in the suit, and I'm quite glad they had that where his mask is broken and you actually did get to see him with his yellow eyes, and yeah, it was great.
I was kind of hoping to see David Prowse underneath.
Yeah, like everyone was really good. I loved it.
Yeah, so it's on the better end of the spectrum. I don't think it's as good as The Mandalorian. That's been my favourite so far. But it was very good there. But I just want to see how the next series goes, Andor, which is out on the 31st of August.
Oh, it's that soon. I didn't know when it was coming out, so that's good.
Yeah, but it's still like, about 5 weeks away? No, end of August. No, about 9 weeks away, give or take. So, I don't know much about it. It says it's more like the Rebels. From what I understand, it takes place just before Rogue One.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure it's got the same actor in it.
Yeah, it's before the event, for wherever he is for Rogue One. So, yeah.
And I really like Rogue One. I know people are split on it, but I legit think it's like, for me, it's like the best Star Wars film. I just really like it.
I don't think I've ever. Have we spoken about Rogue One in detail on the podcast?
I'm sure I have. I'm pretty sure I have.
What do you say, Brandon?
I said no idea.
I don't think I've ever. I don't know if I said this. If I have, I apologise, but I cried at the end of Rogue One. I think I have.
Because you didn't get to see Jar Jar Binks?
Actually, I feel like I have said this on the podcast. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I know we have. I think it's like one of the very early ones.
Yeah, I think I have. But yeah, I cried at the end of Rogue One. Not because like everyone died or anything. It was just such a good movie, and I cried because it was such a good movie.
Yeah, I just like the whole scale of it. The pace just kept going, and like the fights like on the ground level with the Outwalkers and like on the beach setting, that was great. Like, I really liked all that.
Bit, like everyone says, like, oh, yeah, Darth Vader bit, but that really got me. Even then, I was like, oh, I know they were going to make it, but it didn't make me feel like they were going to make it.
Yeah. But, and even like the main baddie is just like some little trumped up officer who's like a big deal.
He doesn't. I swear, he plays near enough the same character now in everything he's in. He plays near the same character in Ready Player One.
Does he? I've not seen that, but I've heard it's hot garbage for most people.
I think we have maybe one more thing to speak about, which all three of us have. Well,
I can think of one more thing which we didn't talk about in the last episode, but I think we should talk about this thing first.
I'll
keep it on the
that is.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things. But the thing I was thinking of, which we didn't talk about last time, was PlayStation Plus. So we were going to talk about that last time. We didn't, did we? And now it's out.
Should we talk about Stranger Things?
We'll talk about Stranger Things first. Let's stick on the same subject.
So Stranger Things, boys, season 4.
Yeah,
we are now all up to date.
Yes, must state at the time of recording, it is a couple of days before the part 2 of Series 4 starts. So that's not out yet.
Is that actually this week?
It's out on Friday.
Oh fucking hell! I know what I'm doing Friday.
That's why I'm kind of glad. Like, I didn't watch Stranger Things straight away. I was like a couple of weeks behind before I started watching it because I finished it a couple of days ago. So it's only been like a week till the next one's out. So it's not been too bad.
On that note, when is Better Call Saul back?
That's next month as well, but I'm not sure which week.
I'm
sure have to look into
have
it.
a look now. But what do we all think of season 4 so far?
Really good.
I really liked that end of the last episode. I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah.
CG was a bit off,
yes,
but
yes,
like the CG was really off. But
yeah.
I mean, the actual context of Eddie, I thought that was fantastic.
Do we want to go into spoilers, or shall we leave it until the series is done?
Well, he's just said. Oh, I guess it's been it's been a few weeks since. It's been a while since it's been out, and by the time this episode comes out, season 4 will be done. So
yeah, fair enough.
I think
so
generally
spoilers, everyone.
we can go into spoilers. Before we do, you saying about the CGI at the end of the last episode that came out. What was funny is just before I watched the episode, because my mate. One of my mates, he noticed I'd been saying a few things about CGI and stuff, and he was like, he made a comment going, "Oh yeah, I bet Dan's going to say something about the CGI about Stranger Things." I'm like, "No, it looks fine." And then I watched that final episode. I was like, "Oh wait, no, I have to say something about the CGI. Oh no, that last section was it was kind of shit." It kind of was shit.
The CG kind of butchered it a little bit.
Yeah.
The storytelling was fantastic, though.
It was a cool moment, but the CGI was shit.
Yeah.
I can't lie, it was shit.
Did we all predict ahead of time, like myself, that Vecna was number 1?
I think just before... I think it was when he revealed he was 1. Well, just before he revealed he was 1, I was like, he's 1, and then, yeah. And then I think through that scene, I was like, I think, yeah, that makes sense.
So I was watching it with my folks, and like by the end, my mum audibly went, "Oh, he's number 1," and me and Dad were like, "Yeah, we know." So we put it together about half hour ago. Yes, I mean, do you see where it goes? But I know there's another series after this.
Yes.
Like, they said they're going to finish on Series 5, so I don't know whether they're going to keep number 1 Vecna at like the top of the food chain, I guess, or
I don't know, because what I know of season 5 is that it's going to be like, It Part 2.
Yeah,
that's all I know about season 5. I don't know. No, I think that's near enough all that's been said. Is there's going to be a time skip, and that's it. It's going to be a few years later. But other than that, I don't know anything about season 5, so I don't know how this is going to transition into that. I think what's I found really strange about this season is the fact that near enough most of the characters are all split up. Like quite wildly split up.
Although I don't think it's really affecting the show. I think it's actually done better how it's structured because there's like 4 stories going on, but all of them are strong. There's like not one bad bit.
Yeah.
For me, it feels like I know the episodes are like an hour and a half each, give or take, so they are much longer, but they don't feel that long because they're sort of split up. So it like you would expect a film to have a sort of A plot and a B plot. I don't know, it just feels like they don't feel like an hour and a half each, right?
No.
Because there's like so much going on. There's like all this scene, that scene. In fact, like there was one episode where I don't think we even seen like Jonathan and Will and that. I don't think they were in the episode at all. It was mostly the prison and Elton.
I think because it's been, for me, I've watched it pretty quickly. I've had quite a while to mull over it. What I have noticed is, especially with a few of the characters, I don't think the Duffer Brothers know what the fuck they want to do with them. A good character to pinpoint here is Jonathan. I don't think they know what the fuck they want to do with him as a character. So I don't know what what's going to go on with him in these last 2 episodes. But right now, he just kind of doesn't have a character story at all.
No, he didn't want to see
Nancy.
Yeah, he didn't want to see Nancy. He didn't want to do anything. It says he's now become like some sort of, pothead, but he's not really doing that either. He's just not doing anything.
I feel the same way slightly about Will. Like, how important the character
Will's
he
gone
was
off the edge for this one. Like, he's gone off the radar for this series. Yeah,
but how much like the first series is like focused on him, like a lot. Even the first episode is called "The Vanishing of Will Byers." He's just, that's how he feels now. It's like, oh, Will's disappeared. He's left the script. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of both the Byer brothers are a bit obsolete, and it's a bit like they kind of I don't know. Like, it's weird how like our main 4 kids, Dustin just seems like the main character in a weird way.
Dustin's cool.
He's the one people really like, isn't he? I think they've realised that. It's like people seem to really like Dustin, so it's bumping him up a bit. I'd say there's 2 scenes in particular that stand out for me. One that's really good and one that's not so much. And they're totally jarring. I'll get the good one out of the way first. One of the strongest scenes I've ever seen in any show to date. I don't know if you'll agree with me on this one, but it's the one where Max is under Vecna's influence, and they use like Kate Bush to get her out.
Yeah,
that scene is so well done.
Yeah,
and I've seen how popular that one is. Because a lot of people have seen it as a sort of metaphor for mental health and helping them get out with having like supportive friends and music that's helped them through. And I really got that. I thought that scene was fantastic.
Yeah, same.
It was very good.
As a Kate Bush fan, like it really hit on another level, that scene.
Yeah, especially when Lucas just says the simple words, "We're still here." That's good. That's some good shit. The scene we weren't so sure about. I mean, my dad like shot each other a look to say, "The fuck's going on here?" Is when they go to Dustin's girlfriend's house and it's just like all these kids just like doing random shit, and it just felt so tonally jarring. It's so out of place. It's like, are we watching the same series now? This is suddenly gotten very, very silly. Did anyone else feel that way? It's like, the fuck was that?
Not really.
I know they play it up.
It just existed.
Yeah.
It was like, this is weird. He's like, well, I hope Vecna gets all these kids because these are annoying.
I think one thing I've always thought this. I think I maybe mentioned it the other week, but definitely with season 4. I'm expecting it with the last 2 episodes that come out this week. Especially, I'm expecting it the last episode of this season. I've always felt that one of the main 4 kids, or 5 if you count Elle, then I've always felt that one of them is going to die. I don't know if it'll be this season or next season, or I think just someone in the main cast is going to die in the final episode. I don't know who, but I think someone is, and I always think that one of the main 5 cast members, like the kids, well, not kids anymore, I guess, but when they started, they were kids. I think one of them is going to die by the end of the series. It just feels right in a weird way.
Oh, somebody's got to make the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is why they're downplaying like Will and Jonathan a bit. It's like maybe they're not long for this series.
Maybe
or they're going to do something heroic to save said potential dying character.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's arc's done. There's like maybe Jonathan will die to get out the picture, so like Steve and Nancy can end up together. It's a speculation.
I don't know. Maybe. Obviously, got Steve and Nancy have had some more sexual tension this season. I don't know.
If anything happens to Steve, we riot.
I don't know. Even Steve is giving off some death flags. Like even like I don't know. I don't really understand. I'm like really intrigued in how these last 2 episodes are going to go, and I'm more intrigued just how all the characters are going to come together. Or if they even do, they might not, But I assume they would. I can't see that they wouldn't. But
Gotta say though, I am quite glad of the existence of the characters of both Yuri and Murray. I've got a few laughs out of both of those.
Oh yeah,
they've been like some good comic relief.
Yeah, that has been some good comic relief.
And Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie's all right. But
I think
Yuri's made me laugh more than anything.
Murray's been really good.
Yeah.
Was it when he was fighting the prison officer and he's just like kung fu fighting? Is that?
Yeah, I know karate.
Yeah, he just realised I beat up.
Because honestly, I thought he was going to get knocked out. Like reverse slapstick. But no, he actually kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah, he's done it to a couple, isn't he? So, okay. I do think that there's one scene like where Yuri drugs both him and Joyce with a coffee. One thing I thought is like, if Murray is like this big conspiracy theorist nut, I thought he'd be like the first person to not touch strangers' coffee at all. He wouldn't take that kind of risk.
It's a fair point, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I know they had a long journey and everything, but still, it kind of seemed that little bit out of character for him to do that. It's like there's no way to trust him. Oh well. Yeah, but season 4 of Stranger Things so far, great.
Yeah,
absolutely top notch.
Great.
I think it might be my favourite. I don't know. I guess it's not as fresh for me now, and I thinking back on what I've seen, it might be my favourite, but I think it depends what these last 2 episodes do, because they might fall. They could potentially undo a lot of the good season 4's done. I can't imagine it's going to do that with how good Stranger Things has been on a consistent level. I can't see these last 2 episodes being bad, but you never know. There's always that case to be said. They could be.
Mm-hmm. Have you noticed, like, when it comes to like the villains, there's a strong like tie-in with like the Dungeons and Dragons aspect. It feels like season 1 is like the Demigorgons, like the basic foot soldiers, Season 2 was like the demidogs. Season 3 you had like the mind flayer, and like season 4 you've got like the dark necromancer. So I'm wondering if there's going to be something else. Well, it's normally something like a dragon. So I'm wondering if there's going to be that kind of aspect thrown in.
It's weird that it'd been like essentially 11 created the first portal to the Upside Down.
Well, that's if she did create the portal or just created the whole Upside Down. It's a bit ambiguous at the minute.
Well, I don't know. It's weird because it's like, oh, that portal from season 1 is literally created by 11. It's just kind of a weird full circle. I think that's what's like really confusing with a season 5. Everything seems so full circle in season 4. So
more final, doesn't it?
It's just season 5 just seems so strange that it's a thing. Like, fair enough.
Stranger.
Yeah, it's just kind of baffling when it really feels like it's coming to a proper series finale in a way, but it's clearly not. So I'm very intrigued.
I wonder, they say like, oh, it's going to be a series 5 coming out. I'm wondering if it's going to be like less of a series and more just like one big episode.
Who knows?
I'll see.
I think
it's more like a sort of epilogue.
I think, as I said, I think from the sounds of it, it's going to be more like It Part 2, where it's. I think it's going to take a lot of influence from It Part 2, but maybe not.
We'll keep it with the 80s theme, won't it?
Yeah.
We shall see. Yeah.
We'll find out on Friday then. Looks like I know what I'm doing when I get home on Friday.
Yeah,
so I've got my internet. Internet. Looks like I've got my evening sorted on Friday.
I think I've got mine sorted too.
Yeah.
Hooray. Well, before we leave you lovely, lovely listeners, we've got one more little topic to discuss. Because we were going to discuss it last time and we didn't. And that's the new PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Premium came out this week. And I just wondered what everyone's thoughts on it was. Because Brandon, you've got it now, haven't you?
I have bought it, and I'm just going to open up now all the new PS Plus games list. But at the moment, I think the most important thing, if you are going to get it, is just think, even if you get it for the year, as long as you play something like Returnal, that's paid you off for that whole year. Just think about it like that. There are some fantastic games on there, and then obviously there's going to be some smaller games on there. But there's a decent selection. Like there's like Dynasty Warriors 6 through 8. Like you got 6 Empires, 7 Empires, 8 Extreme Legends or whatever. And it's got Dark Cloud, Dark Chronicle on there, so that's already. I recommend you guys go pick that up when you got it. That alone is phenomenal. You got all the Jak and Daxters on there. You got what else is on there? You got Star Wars Bounty, Star Wars Jedi Starfighter, Star Wars Race of Revenge. Then you got some really like odd ones on there. Like you've got Tekken 2. So if you're a fan of like retro, there you go. You got Tekken 2. You've got Ape Escape. I mean, there's even some like really nice JRPGs on there. Like you got Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 are on there, or Final Fantasy 10 as well. You got Elder Scrolls Online is on there as well. So I've never played Elder Scrolls Online. I've never been asked to be able to actually purchase it, but I mean that possibly would be a reason for me to play the Elder Scrolls Online just to see what it's all about.
Here's the thing, though, of those games that you've already mentioned, none of them are new to the service. They've already been on it anyway.
Yes.
Here's what I was thinking. Like for me, right, I've already got the PS Plus stuff anyway, and I was looking at it, and for me, one of the big selling points was going to be like the more of the retro games, like the games that are hard to get hold of, like your PS1, your PS2, your PSP games. All the ones I can see on there, like they promised they're going to upload. Currently, all the ones that are on there are ones you could get anyway.
Yes, that was one. That's what I was disappointed about. Yeah,
not a single title I can see on there that wasn't already available. and that's a massive pisser because there is no reason for me to think about jumping up to the premium one. So as it stands, it's done like it's moved me over to the equivalent, which is like the lowest tier one. But there's really nothing for me to get. It's like I could get these games anyway. I wanted like where's all the PS2 games you said you were going to get? Where's all my Digital Devil sagas? Or I don't know. Well, Christ, I can't think of any single PS2 game now.
Dark Cloud, Dark Chronicle. You can play them.
Again, they're already on there.
Yes, but you don't need to purchase them now. You can just play them. I mean, it'll take you a year to finish Dark Chronicle, but you know what I mean.
You just have to pay an extra £50 a year to get it. Yeah, there's that. And what I don't like either, compared to say like Game Pass again, is like the 2-hour time demos for like the newer games. It's like, well, Game Pass releases games day one. Granted, it's not all of them, but why is something like Horizon, like Forbidden West, why is that a 2-hour game, like demo, essentially? Rather than just, I'm playing premium now. Why don't I just have that? It's a Sony first-party title. Surely that would be included. You get what I mean? Like you can get like all the Halo games on Game Pass, for example, like all the newer ones, like Infinite and whatnot. You don't have to buy them brand new. I know it's probably not the best comparison, but it's the one I can think of. But hell, you can't even get Shredder's Revenge free on PlayStation Plus. You have to pay for it. Wow. So yeah, maybe it'll change and be better because my subscription ends in January. So I'm hoping by then there'll be a shit ton more titles on there. Because at the minute it's very bare bones and I'm very disappointed with it. Because I did think about upgrading, but there's literally no reason for me to do that. Because it's just the same. They've added nothing new that I want. So yeah, I'm massively disappointed so far. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think quite a few people have thought the same.
Yeah, it's quite a unanimous thing. Like people did think you're going to get a better and more newer selection, or a more meta selection, rather than stuff which probably had really low sales.
Oh yeah, as I say, for the retro game, any retro games, where are they? They said they were coming, so where are they? So.
Their idea of retro is Ape Escape. They seem to be really proud about Ape Escape and the Atari collection.
But you could get that anyway.
Yeah.
Where's all the new ones? Well, new old ones.
You remember when the PlayStation Mini came out, and we saw the
no, but yes,
and we saw the game selection, and it was disappointing. They've just done the same thing with PlayStation Plus.
Seems it.
Oh, yes, but the difference is the PlayStation. Well, that was a sort of hardwired thing, so you could only get so many things onto it before hacking. This is a service that they promised and haven't delivered on.
But okay, the selection of games that they picked for the PlayStation Mini was just really strange. If you talk to especially people our age, when they think of PlayStation 1 and the games they put on the Mini just were not the games that many of us were talking about, and it was just really weird. And I feel the exact same thing about PS Plus, the premium and what games you can play. It just feels really strange. Like, if you mentioned they got Tekken 2, why Tekken 2? Why not Tekken 1, 2 and 3? Or 4? Or 5? Why not 1 to 5? Why not?
Not Tekken Tag Tournament, that was also another amazing one.
Yeah. Why have they not put all the PlayStation 1 and 2 Tekken games on there? Why not? You could... This is what baffles me. Maybe they'll come in at a later time. Fair enough, but if that's the case, why you put Tekken 2 on? Why not? Why isn't it Tekken 1? Or put the best PlayStation 1 Tekken 3? This is what baffles me about PlayStation Plus is the selection of games. Just doesn't feels like it's been picked by a boardroom that feel like these are what our customers want to play, and we as the consumers are saying other things, and they're just not listening.
Yeah,
that is the vibe I get from PS Plus. Maybe eventually it will be better. I'd hope so. It should be, but right now it just doesn't compare to Game Pass, and I don't even have Game Pass. But
I've really thought they'd up their game. So far they've tried, and no.
I think it's
I'm sorry, I'm still bitter about that. What?
I think it maybe is more there for maybe the PS5, maybe, but I don't. It shouldn't just be for one console. It should be for all five, all 5 generations. But
yeah,
I think maybe that's it, because we're reaching 2 hours.
Yeah, there's only so much we can bitch and moan. Shall we end up on a positive note?
Well, what is there that's positive apart from how happy Beavis and Butthead made you?
Stranger Things is coming out. The last 2 episodes are coming out this week, and we get to enjoy them.
Yeah,
yes,
all
I'm
cry.
excited about that.
Maybe we don't get to enjoy them because Dustin gets killed off. I don't know.
Don't say that. They're famous last words, mate.
I'm touching wood right now, so it's fine.
No. Look. Before then, we can spend time playing Turtles and Doom and not Stranded Deep.
Screaming at Stranded Deep because I've got a shark trying to kill me.
I'm just going to build my 80 miniatures for bolt action. Like always, you can follow our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also, we're on Spotify. You can listen to us on Anchor and Spotify. Give us a rating on Spotify. Yeah, whatever you want, higher the better. Yeah.
So guys, that's it for another podcast episode 30. Ooh, 31 next week, and by next week I mean next fortnight. But depending when you listen to this, it might be next week. Yeah,
Or it might
be straight away.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds great.
That's good news.
You know what's got the word time in it? Turtles in Time, which is a
Right.
bit like Shredder's Revenge, and Shredder's Revenge is brilliant, and that plays me, and that should make you happy as well. Go and play Shredder's Revenge, everyone. Anyway, but this has been me and Brandon.
Hello. Or goodbye,
And
rather.
And Dan.
Rip and tear, boys. Rip and tear.
Just smile and wave, boys.
And on that stunning note, I'll see you later.
Ta-ta.
Smile later, boys.